I think
so. To address to Chris, I mean, is that a debate that you're party to? Well, or I've mentioned this before on panels, and it's not always a popular comment, but there are some people who think it is going to be physically impossible.
Well, where there's a will, there's a way. But does that mean that you should stop trying? No, because at the end of the day, really, what we're all about is enabling our customers to get access to content from the major premium sources like studios and networks. And their demand today, and we believe increasingly so in the future, is going to continue to be for this dynamic security. Now, is the horse out of the barn the second the first DVD comes out? Of course it is. That content gets on the internet, and bits are replicable, limitlessly. But the point is, there are still a vast majority of consumers out there that are willing to pay a fair price for a good service. And it's our job to make sure that those services are secure and that we're enabling our customers to get that content from the major providers.
I think we also need to, I agree with your point that if we've got a security guard ensuring that the industry doesn't trip up and then we all lose out on content, that's a very valuable thing to have. I think we also have to be careful though, because this comes back to the cost of web not being free, and presumably we'll get to that in detail later on, but you're going to start piling DRM charges on top of content delivery charges, on top of payment charges, encoding charges. Now, this worries me because my belief and my hat's in the ad-funded world a little bit, but it's so commoditized that we've really got to watch, and again, it's collaboration. We need to make sure that the cost of delivering content to the consumer before they even get to watch it isn't such that we can't fund it. So I believe in DRM, absolutely, but the business model is still needing to mature.
Put the whole thing in context. The percentage of content people want to consume that needs that level of hard, fast security before the DVD window is a small amount of the total viewing time. There are alternatives. Sky, Virgin, pay-TV operators have broadcast level secure models for delivering content, and so there is a big content delivery industry outside of the delivery and security of this over the top.
Which I totally agree, because if you look at one of the things from Mobile World Congress was Netflix basically being embedded on a Qualcomm chip. Now that works for them, huge company, but who can afford that? That's
not individual content
producers. Almost back to the days of customized technology.
Yeah.
Which, throwing this out about ecosystems and collaboration, the ultraviolet branding. Now, is that good? Is that the way forward, where you do get that consortium involving content owners, device owners, with registered owners for registered connected devices?
I think ultraviolet is the way forward. I think rights management has to move into the cloud. I think users have rejected, per device security of copy protecting something that they think they've owned. So, certainly in the WUMI world, someone's profile holds their entitlements, their rentals, their subscriptions, and that's independent of the device. So I'm very much in favour of ultraviolet as a cloud-based entitlement system. And I think for some content, it will sit on top of DRM infrastructures, we know that, but for other content it'll provide the kind of flexibility and empowerment that consumers are looking for.
Well, even if it is within the DRM paradigm, they've established an extremely flexible regimen to which DRM is how DRM is applied, and a lot of flexibility. So I think really what Hollywood I think is trying to do there is to replace the DVD model, which has been so fraught with piracy.
Exactly.
And I think they're doing it in a way that's fundamentally fair to themselves, but also fundamentally fair and flexible to the consumer as well. So I believe that it will be a success as long as the security around it is implemented in a way that's both flexible for the consumer, but also is dynamically protected so that it's not broken.
Is that a consumer?
And those studios are changing the windows in certain cases. I mean, and again, they are the people with the hands on the tap controlling, and these people, they're probably the most entrepreneurial group of people around. I mean, they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on something which they hope might sell. And they're very good at marketing and selling and getting a return on that. But at a recent conference, one of the studio representatives on digital media was saying, okay, it's not worth the risk of piracy for us to release an early window for 5,000 or 10,000 subscribers in the territory. But when you aggregate the 72 territories that company is operating in at 10,000 each, that's a day and date release for payment. for best part of 750,000 people, that then becomes a persuasive argument in favour of taking the risk. So it doesn't work individually, and what's enabled that is IP technology and TV over DSL and all the wonderful things that we're talking about here today. But they are the guys who are controlling it.
Well, and those ultra early release windows, they're actually talking now about a theater release window for home theaters, so that at the same day and date of a theater release, you'd actually be able to watch it at home, and that's going to require a whole new level of security, including not only conditional access or DRM, but also watermarking as well, so that you can trace the content back to the individual user.
If they think they're going to make more money on the full life of that product by doing that at an earlier window, they will do it.
Yeah, exactly.